Yawn, gotta stretch while everything wakes up and starts disseminating to all the various streaming platforms. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning, Twitch. Welcome or welcome back to another Dadvocate live stream. I am once again your host, Lauren, and to answer one of the first chats that I saw, though, okay, there we go. Good morning, chat box. Good morning to you too. No, I do not own a priest outfit, no. While I am an ordained minister, I do not practice under any of the specific faiths that require the uniform, the dress code. But great question to start us off. Yes, this is a audio only friendly live stream, meaning if you are at the gym lifting weights, taking your dogs for a walk, on a long commute in your car, we try to make it here so that even while we are responding to some visual cues today, I will do my best to verbally describe everything that's going on screen so that you don't have to look at your phone. The main time I'm going to ask you to actually look at your phone or screen is to hit the like button really quick, okay? You are the sponsor of this stream, okay? You and the Patreon members and YouTube members who get early access and exclusive member videos and access to the Discord, which is really fun. The YouTube members get custom emotes. Patreon members get custom merchandise items. Feel free to switch it up, play around with your memberships. There's always baseline stuff and things to upgrade to, but you guys truly help the stream out in so many ways. Thank you so much, Patreon members, YouTube members, and just people who like the stream. Just engagement in general helps a whole heckin' ton. Things like that one guy is doing with the $2 super chat. Super chats also help the channel. So thank you so much. That one guy says, good afternoon, Lauren. Great to see you. So great to see you guys too. I was just getting everybody warmed up, saying my general greetings, okay? Here's what we've got on the itinerary, all right? Here's our, we kind of have a theme of the stream, but there's a few different segments I'm gonna hit you with today, okay? The first thing that I wanna talk about today is I wanna talk about the Joey Swoll thing. If you don't know, we're gonna get into it. After that, sorry guys, I gotta hit you with some cheating Chelsea stuff. If there's a lot of things I like to talk about on this channel, okay? Relationship stuff, gender war stuff, marriage, parenting, co-parenting, and picking apart hypocrisies and double standards, especially when it comes to relationship stuff, especially when it comes to cheating. So if there is a public influencer on the web who makes it their business and personal mission to come up with bullshit of fair logic, yes, I'm going to have to poke holes in it. I have to. It is my mission. Okay, our missions are directly in antithesis with each other. Unfortunately, she is like kind of my Gary Oak, all right, as it turns out in the world. Shiny Luna, thank you so much, and thank you for the 2. Good morning, Lauren. Happy 10:30, everybody. In what time? In what universe? It's 1:30 p.m. over here for the Eastern Standard peeps. Anyway, after we talk about the Joey Swoll situation and after we talk about the Chelsea situation, that is when we are going to enter the original theme of the stream that I named this stream after and I created the thumbnail for. We will once again be entering Reverend Dadvocate's confessional booth because as it turns out, you actually don't need to be a priest. You don't need to have a relationship with God. You don't even need to have a fancy church for people to confess their sins to you. All you have to do is log into the internet and know where to find where people are tattling on themselves, as it turns out. So listen, they put this out there into the ethos, the universe. They wanted somebody to find it and react to it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So there's enough of you here. We're well beyond our start time. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. First things first, What is going on with Joey Swole? Who is Joey Swole? I guess I should have pulled this up ahead of time. Okay, let me just pull up his main TikTok page. I want to say is probably what most people know him from. Very popular account. We have over 8 million followers. There's definitely over 9,000. Okay, this dude is like freaking massive, not just like socially online, but like huge gym dude. And his big shtick is he basically reacts to videos where women are basically trying to shame guys in the gym for like looking at them while they're filming themselves, or otherwise weird, creepy, inappropriate gym behavior. Joey will react to it, criticize them, and I think his closing line is usually like, do better, you know, with a scolding tone. And people love this guy. I have always been a fan of Joey Swole. I don't know much about his personal life, but whenever his stuff comes across my feed, it seems to be more in line with things that I talk about here on my channel when it comes to double standards, what is and isn't appropriate. Are we demonizing men a bit harshly? Right? So I've generally liked his stuff. Shadow God at 1,000, thank you so much for the super chat, encouraging those likes. Always appreciate that. And he's been doing this stuff for years. He's a very beloved creator, or was, for a very long time, until now has remained non-controversial. So what went wrong? Well, on the eve of what the fuck is his name? Hulk Hogan's actual name. It sounds like a disease. It's like Terry Borea or something. Terry Gonorrhea. I don't know. I hate to disrespect the dead, but he was not a very well liked guy by the end of his life. Quite the racist background. A lot of people disliked the fellow. But on the eve of his death, Joey Swole re-uploaded an old video of himself dressed as Hulk Hogan. People didn't like that. They didn't like it for various factors. People who really, really liked Hulk Hogan thought that it was very disrespectful, like, now is not the time, Joey. But most people who didn't like Hulk Hogan did not like that Joey Swole was paying respects or homage or tribute to a prolific racist in many people's eyes at all. They just did not like that at all. So Joey takes down the video. And in my opinion, I think it could have ended here. This is where I want you guys to really pay attention and like start taking notes, because this is how you avoid Joey's fate happening to you. Now, many of you guys are not even content creators, or if you are, probably are not like quite at Joey Swole's level anyway, but regardless of whether you are or are not famous, this is what we can learn from Joey Swolegate, Hogan Gate 2025, in a constant pattern of we cannot save these hoes, but we can learn from these hoes. This is what we can learn from the Joey Swole situation, is the overall public was not happy about the Hulk Hogan repost. He took it down. It could have ended there. It could have never escalated. It could have been fine. It could have been dead and buried. I really don't think that people would have kept bringing up the Hulk Hogan video at all. But here is where it goes south, and then it gets souther, and then it gets souther. And everyone who is like, Joey, we can defend you. We're ready to defend you. The more it kept going, the more people were like, Joey, we can't. Okay, we're not going to be able to explain that one, Joey. All right, Joey, stop. Joey, stop talking. But he wouldn't. No one had a no bottle on hand, and so unfortunately, Joey just kept yapping. So here's what happened. We take down the Hulk Hogan video. We go live to address it right? We go live to be like, sorry, guys. But then the things that came out of his mouth while he was trying to apologize were a bit, pun intended here, off color. Because when people are trying to talk to Joey about, like, listen, we don't like this because Hulk Hogan was a racist, I believe Joey ended up saying something along the lines of, well, have you tried asking colored athletes and wrestlers what they think? Mm. So you understand how uncomfy that sounds. I get that what he was trying to do was make the point that plenty of black and minority folks remained a fan of the Hulk Hogan character and what it meant to them growing up without, necessarily supporting Terry Borealis's racism, whatever his name is, right? I think that was the point he was trying to make. It's just that a lot of people did not like Joey Swoll using the term colored. It's a lot of people were bringing up the main criticism that this term was often used as a dog whistle associated with Jim Crow laws during the segregation era. They didn't like it. A lot of other people pushed back on Joey's side, still trying to defend Joey, saying if saying colored is so bad, what does NAACP stand for? Trying to have like another gotcha, like it's really not that big of a deal. He wasn't trying to be racist. He just, in the moment, used the wrong words. So a lot of people were saying, a lot of other people were like, nope, you said colored people. You're done. It was looking bad for Joey. We were kind of like head barely above water at this point within the social zeitgeist. Okay? Then it gets worse because he goes on to also talk about Terry's racism, but describes it as just a mistake. A lot of people didn't like that because in a lot of people's arguments, they pointed out that there was a lot of Hulk Hogan's racism that he never fully apologized for or made amends for. Other people, still trying to defend both Joey and Hulk Hogan, were trying to argue that Hulk Hogan did give himself to the Lord at the end and was trying to do better. Some people don't quite think that was enough. The live stream went poorly, is what we're trying to say. He goes on, and I believe tries to make a couple more apology videos. In fact, let's go ahead and react to one of them. This is the one that's still up now. Okay.
Oh, my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, and made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talking to people, and learned all of the horrible.
Oh, sorry. I forgot that I changed my media source when I had Roma on. Let me switch that back. I apologize for the audio issues. Okay.
Horrible things that man.
Okay, this should be better. I guess it doesn't fully matter. You get it. You see that he's out here. He's saying, I posted a video. People tried to educate me, and at first I was defensive, and that was wrong. Listen, here's another thing that I have learned when it comes to the internet. is that by and large, public apologies are just not worth it. It is not worth doing. I'm not saying that apologizing isn't worth it. There have been plenty of people that I've apologized to behind closed doors, content that I've privately removed after private discussions with people. You know what I mean? And with apologies, sometimes from one end, sometimes from both ends. I'm not anti apology. I'm very anti public apology because in everything I have ever seen, it does not matter how you craft it, how you word it, how you present it, whether or not you have a ukulele, it will not be well received. In fact, it will simply be taken as an admission of your failure, and they will want you to just continue groveling. They will see it as like, oh, we've chipped away at you. We've gotten you to admit defeat, to grovel a little bit, but I think we can get more. Now beg. Beg for forgiveness. Keep admitting your sins. It's not enough. And they will just, it'll just be over for you. I've never seen a public apology where the reaction is, wow, you know what? I see things differently now. I see their side. They seem sincere. They're always going to pick it apart and be like, oh, well, in this, you can tell that they wrote that. And from this body language, they don't seem sincere. And it's just not worth it. And ultimately, again, this is a major thing to learn from Joey. He Barbara Streisanded the shit out of himself. If you're not familiar with the Barbara Streisand effect, this was a fascinating time in history where Barbara Streisand bought a house and did not want anyone to know about it. So she made such a big deal about not wanting anyone to know where this house was that it made people so much more curious to find the house, and it was found and broadcast almost within like days to hours of the first frenzy of her suggesting she did not want it to be found. So, whenever there is the phenomenon of someone not wanting to know or not wanting people to know about something, but then not being able to stop themselves from yapping about it, unfortunately, they become the master of their own demise. This happens like all the time. I have to like tell so many of my friends these things. They'll be like, oh, well, I don't know if people have gotten over, that rumor that was spread about me in the past about me doing this horrible thing. And I'm like, well, if you stop talking about it, they might forget about it, dude. Like, stop telling people immediately, like, and you're going to keep the flames alive. I truly think if he would have just deleted the Hulk video, it would have been fine. Even if people were trying to bring it up in his live chat, you can just ignore it. You can just turn chat off. You just go off live, honestly. Like, I don't know how big of a deal it was at the time. I wasn't there for the lives. I'm not sure if they were like gobbling him up in the chat box and weren't able to talk about anything else. But like, it would pass. I really don't think that people would die on the hill of like, Joey Swole once wore a Hulk Hogan outfit otherwise. But as soon as you make an apology video, oh Lord, they're gonna swarm on you. They are gonna swarm on you. This one on TikTok has over 8 million views, but I believe on Twitter it blew up even more. I'm pretty sure it had over 20 million impressions. And let's take a look at how the chat is going to give you guys, an idea of what this looks like when you attempt to publicly apologize. Oh, I see why is it so small? Oh, I might have to make this a little bit bigger to read it all. Okay. So top comments include, stop apologizing, Joey. You did nothing wrong. And then the quote is coming from a bunch of white people emojis. So the context with over 100,000 likes here being like, of course, like only the pick-me's are going to come to apologize for Joey at this point. So this is also how you'll hear about like never apologize to the mob. I'm sorry, but like this is what they mean, because the mob has this way of collectivizing very quickly because they don't just hate the person that they're choosing as their villain of the week. they're going to hate anybody who sides with the villain of the week. And they'll make it known. And they'll find ways to be like, and if we find out that you're supporting this person, we're going to clown on you too. So it helps, like, you know, convert over people to the new side. It converts people over from people who previously liked Joey to now, like, oh, well, if everybody's hating Joey, then, like, I'm in, right? And now, look, there's only so much I can do to defend the guy. You know what I mean? You used the word colored. People are going to assume that's now part of your average organic vernacular, which people don't tend to be super fond of. You know, you stood 10 toes down on it, and then you retracted it really quickly. That also seems wishy-washy, so there's only so much I can do to defend the guy, right? But at the same time, it's like, if I do try to look at this from his perspective and give him the grace of someone that I've found his opinions reliable so far, I do think it's a bit silly that it's like I'm being reduced down to like just another white apologist, or even worse, like people saying like, oh, well, if you like Hulk Hogan in any way, you must be a racist yourself. Like, okay, we do have to chill on this a little bit. Connor Flatford, thank you so much for the 5, says people hate disagreement more than anything these days. Like a dissenting opinion, you mean? I was gonna say, I feel like people love disagreement. It seems, I fear. But someone else says, I knew the world was soft, but wow, this is crazy. They did not seem to like this guy's opinion, by the way, if we do open the replies, which I don't feel like it. Bro's reading off a paper, laughing emoji. Nah, you were 100% confident. Too late. Girl, you meant it. Stand on it. I realize I'm losing money, so let me go ahead and quick apologize. Let someone talk long enough, they will show their true colors. Gang, you definitely knew. You just in trouble. You can see some support for Joey here. Don't apologize for nothing, bro. They're just sensitive over nothing. 70,000 likes. But for the rest of it, I'm sorry I got caught. Joey Swole sends millions of his fans to cancel people over one instance of just being an a-hole. Also, Joey Swole, I'm not going to cancel a guy after a life of documented racism and was never sorry about it. So a lot of people are basically saying that Joey Swole is being a hypocrite because he is willing to basically send the mob of his audience against people for their shitty behavior that they publicly recorded and put online. But he's not willing to mobilize his army against Terry, the Hulkster, I guess. So a lot of, as you can see, people were not super pleased with this apology. And this is probably one of the first times that Joey Swole has ever faced like a major controversy where the overwhelming amount of his chat or comments is negative, right? Like I've definitely had some videos go this way for me where I just like I just missed the mark, or I came after the wrong person's audience and they actually like filled up my comments pretty good with like roasting, you know? I've definitely experienced that and it does not feel great. You know, you're kind of like, ooh, I might have fucked up here. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good. But it's interesting that, you know, Joey has had such a rise to stardom, like basically came out of nothing. I don't think that Joey Swole had a shit ton of money or fame or notoriety or credentials or accreditation prior to social media, but when he blew up quick. And now that he's having a fall from grace, he's falling very hard, it seems, because what happens next is we pretty much made Joey quit social media. We straight up bullied the man offline. The pushback from Hulkgate 2025 appeared to be more than Joey Swoll could handle or was willing to deal with, because we get this Facebook post, which I did cover on my Facebook page. Shadow God says, I want to negotiate for more lives. I enjoy them. Oh man, listen, guys, a couple more weeks so the kids are back in school and I can get a more reliable live schedule. I've even been thinking about doing maybe like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday or something like that. I want to do something consistent this year, but you guys have to like the stream in order for me to do it. I shall incentivize. Anyway, here's what Joey posted. He said, all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired to do great things in their life and pay it forward to help others and carry on my message. But no matter how much good you do, how many people you help, they just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. It's true. You either die a hero or live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for the support. Please remember me and smile. I love you all. I'm done. And this has just been flamed over an open fire. Since he posted this less than 24 hours ago, Matt Walsh has covered it, basically calling Joey Swoll a bitch baby for this response, saying he's not being a real man, he's being a coward. People are criticizing Joey Swoll, saying, how dare you try to just like self-victimize and run away. You might be really strong in the gym, but you're not mentally strong. I mean, holy shit. What an obstacle to overcome. And I got to admit, when I did read this, I could see it from two different perspectives. From a motherly perspective, I see a man who is literally like this, just so frustrated and annoyed, feeling like he can't do anything right, feeling like he tried his best to take accountability, but feeling like nothing he does will ever be good enough. Clearly not ready for something like this. And whoever is. From the other side, I'm, just reading this organically, dude, I thought this was like, I was like, dude, is he about to like off himself? Like, this is incredibly dramatic. If it's not a cry for help, it's incredibly dramatic and worrying. You know what I mean? It was a very alarming post. I guess my first instinct isn't to say like just flame him alive over this. I was kind of like, oh shit, what is fully going on here? I saw this post before I found out the whole history of things that went on behind it that I just explained to you guys. But this is kind of where we're at now. And there's not a lot of people Team Joey left at this point. All of the choices and actions that were taken following posting the repost of the Hulk Hogan video have led to this, okay? Choosing to address it in a way that you ended up making more mistakes and gaffes, if you will, getting aggravated, to the apology, to the "f this, I'm out." It's not quite James Charles, like a drop in a million followers bad, but yes, Swollgate is upon us. And there's not too much news following that. That's pretty much where we stand with Joey Swoll as of right now. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think that he does or does not deserve the hate that he is getting right now? Or are you somewhere kind of more nuanced and in between? Do you think that he does not deserve the hate and criticism whatsoever? This is way, way, way too overblown. He tried his best to handle it, and this is just getting ridiculous. Do you think that he absolutely deserves the hate and criticism? Do you think that this was just way too many missteps at once, from honoring Hulk Hogan to begin with, to the use of the term colored, to the apology video, to the crash out quitting? Or are you kind of in a more nuanced stance where you think that it was taken a bit too far, but a lot of the criticisms are fair? He could have handled this better, but it's probably not all over for him. There's a good solid chance of a comeback. What do you guys think when it comes to this whole Joey Swole situation? A lot of people seem to just be coming in right now. Dang, we must have like just gotten an influx of viewers. So TLDR, a very well-known guy, well-known for calling out toxic gym culture with over 8 million views, is now being canceled because he dressed up as Hulk Hogan, and people didn't like that. So he took the video down and apologized. People didn't like that. Especially because when he apologized, he said, well, ask colored people what they think about it. People didn't like that he said colored, so he tried apologizing again, but they didn't like his apology, so then he just rage quit. That's kind of what we're talking about, and whether the crash out was warranted or not, essentially. Was that a fair Snopes rundown of what's going on? Just Ricardo says, should have researched first. Sit and shut up for a bit. You talking to me, or are you talking to the people in chat? I feel like I did a decent amount of research. Ooh, if that is to me. If it is, I mean, even if it is to me, I will accept the super chat regardless. Let me read some of your comments in reaction to some of this. Tuxedo Bob, good to see you, says, Lauren, I think you've lost most of us, as we don't particularly care about Joey Swole. I prefer to see you comment on relationships more than the internet culture at large. Okay, so a lot of you hate this topic. Good to know. Let's see what else. Wilson says, Joey Swole is a good dude, but I lost a ton of respect for backtracking to the woke mob. Yeah, Hogan had plenty of issues, but was still a childhood icon. Him saying colored versus people of color is semantics, and only victims have an issue with that. Nobody's perfect, Swole will come back from this. Katie S. says this is totally overblown, and people just like being mad. Well, all right. Shiny Luna also says he caved to the smallest mob, got eaten by the wolves. Absolutely. Aaron says, don't hate this topic, but I'm more indifferent to it. Okay. I get it, guys. We've covered it. I think we got that part out of the way. Like I said, the reason I covered it is because a lot of the stuff that he covers seems to cover a lot of like relationship dynamics, as well as unfair treatment of men, insofar as how men get treated like creeps at the gym. That's kind of how I found out about his content, why I thought it might be relevant to my followers and audience. Wanted to cover just a little bit about, just in general, how I don't think that apologizing, making grandiose public apologies, ever really works out for people in the end, ever. But we'll move on to the next topic, for sure. Don't worry. Stephen Fonseca, thank you for the generous 10, says, need advice. Part 1, my husband finally feels worthy enough to file for custody since we finally bought a house. Kid is 14, and last year she wanted to move in with us until we told her mom. BM flipped. Okay, now this is more our speed on the Dadvocate channel, Stephanie. I will tell you. You're probably helping me win back a lot of the dads who are like, I don't care about big muscle man's temper tantrum. Let's get to the dadvocacy. Okay. Let's get back to it. So she's kid is 14. You, Stephanie, must be stepmom, have been married for some decent amount of time, and until now dad has not filed for custody yet. I'm sure he's already getting like so much shit from so many different people. If he's anything like my husband waited until his son was like 7 or 8 to formally file for custody. and he received criticism from every single angle on that one. It was, don't take the woman to court, don't involve the courts, you don't need to do that to the mom, you don't need to do that to the son. Other people who were like, why are you being so lazy and uninvolved to not get involved with the courts and not fight for your son? A lot of it was just like trying to keep the courts out of it, because if you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can avoid family court, if you can keep the government out of your business and out of your pockets, do it. Okay? If you can, I always say I would love it if family court was for emergencies only, but because family court is the emergency right now, the active, festering, infected wound on the flesh of America, I don't really get the luxury of being able to make that idealistic claim. It incentivizes its use for sure by having things like in 45 out of 50 states in America, if the family is unmarried, the mother just automatically gets custody, therefore putting the parents automatically pitted against each other, where the only way for the father to get custody is by fighting for it, unless mom decides to just give it to him, which oh, that's so funny. So anyway, I'm assuming you are in such a situation. I'm not sure if you are the first wife or the second. If he was married, that would have definitely increased his chances. I'm assuming unmarried though, because he would need to file for custody. If you were married at the time that you need to file for custody, you have better odds, but not perfect odds. That's for sure. And yeah, waiting to file for custody until you can secure a mortgage also makes sense. Anybody who has ever applied for a mortgage knows what hell on earth it is. They're basically like, so you can't spend any money for 6 months and you have to have no debt and then we'll let you buy a house. And you're like, what the fuck? Am I wrong though? So that makes sense. I'm not going to judge you for waiting this long to take it to court. And I can see why baby mama flipped when you chose to, because she thought you never would. 14 years passed, she thought this day would never come. And it also depends on how you sprung it on her. It almost doesn't depend, but it kind of depends, right? Like pretty much any way of hearing, like, hey, we'd like to completely change the custody arrangement in a way that might involve me paying less child support isn't going to go favorably, right? They're not going to like that. It's not very easy to talk someone into something like that. So that's just part one, though. Let me see if I can find more of Stephanie's saga. Just Ricardo says, "Nah, you, Lauren, love you too." Okay, part two, and thank you for another generous super chat. You don't even need to donate that much to give the part two, but I really appreciate that, girl. Part two, kid came back crying and told us not to file because she's scared of the court. I don't know what her mom said to her to make her scared, but should he keep on if his kid isn't for it? We've been together 10 years. Ooh, that one's a really difficult situation because honestly, no kid wants to go to court. What she probably told the kid, if I had to guess, this is purely speculation. Don't take what I'm saying as the gospel truth. I could be completely wrong. But I'm assuming what the mom said was something like, oh, well, you would be questioned. They might take you away from us for questioning. You might have to spend time with social workers. You might have to get questioned in front of the court. Like they would, take away mommy's support. Who knows what was said to her, but she's clearly like completely terrified of the idea. This is why a lot of courts are generally in favor of like just keep the kids out of it. A lot of you may know that the way that my husband ultimately ended up securing 50-50 in his situation was because they considered my stepson at the age of 15 to be old enough to share his opinion with the court, and he very clearly communicated that he just wanted equal shared parenting. Us and the bio mom less than a mile away from each other. Okay, so this is not a situation of like the kid is constantly 45 minutes between homes. He can ride his bike and regularly does between homes. So it was really just sensical at that point to establish more of a 50-50 basis. You know, I'm not sure your situation, how often you're seeing the kid, what she's used to, or anything like that. Yeah, that one's up to you guys. It definitely helped us that my stepson was like 100% on board with like saying like I want you guys to fight for it, because we had told him, we're like, if you're happy with how things are, it's like it's fine. We don't need to, you know, push the envelope or poke the bear or anything like that. And he was like, no, I hate this. Like, I'm really unhappy. He's been so much happier since. But, you know, I would say put the idea of court on hold for now. Well, at least when it comes to talking about it with the ex and with the child, keep talking to a lawyer though and building a case. I would recommend joining pro se groups so that you can learn more about how the court works, especially local ones. Find your state's pro se groups, because you are going to learn so much about how the law specifically in your county ends up playing out. If you want, if you can, my personal jurisdiction has the live court cams of family court playing throughout the week on YouTube. I'll often tune in and just listen to other people's family court while I'm folding my laundry. So feel free to watch that and get an idea of how things play out. Like, start doing your research. That's another thing my husband and I did for months and months preparing for this. But, you know, good luck. I'll see if there's a part 3 too, you know. But that's a rough one. But no, 14 obviously is not too late to secure custody. Obviously, we stand as a firm testament. Life has been good, honestly. Where things are better than ever. Parents are happier, kids are happier. Even our cross siblings, you know, me and my husband's biological daughter and my stepson's other siblings from the other family get along better now. It's just, could not recommend equal shared parenting anymore. Okay? It's great. The next topic I want to address, okay? Are you guys sick of cheating Chelsea yet? All right. I might not have tapped in to all of your guys's favorite things in the Joey Soul segment, but are we still all team anti-cheater? Are we still team making fun of affair communities and their weird cheater logic? Can I still have that? It's just going to be a small little segment before we enter the confessional booth, okay? Although this kind of counts as a confessional booth, right? Like, people coming online and being like, I cheated for 15 years is like, okay. If you want to cop to that, okay, right? But listen, there's 2 videos of hers newly posted that I just need to react to and address and poke holes in. Just poke some big old holes. Who the F is cheating Chelsea? TLDR, there is a woman named Chelsea Smallwood who owns a business called The Other Woman and the Wife, and it is a private affair coaching community for other women, side pieces, mistresses. But don't worry, if you're the other man, like a dude helping a woman cheat, you can join too. Some fun facts about this group is that they are currently in litigation with a betrayed spouse. Basically, the quick synopsis on that case is that Chelsea Smallwood, the owner and operator of The Other Woman and the Wife, LLC, a private affair coaching community, attempted to sue a betrayed spouse who joined the community after hearing Chelsea reading her own text messages in a TikTok about the affair that her husband had on her with her best friend, to see how the fork she had those text messages inside of the community saw that her former best friend, the side piece that her husband was cheating on her with, was in there, not only just like boldly talking about the affair, but also allegedly posting pictures of the betrayed spouse, Kristen, and her children for comparison purposes, also confessing to some other things. Allegedly, this other woman who goes by Olivia Nicodemus and is cited in the public lawsuit and is now currently publicly commenting on Chelsea's stuff again, I guess, allegedly posted within this group about taking Kristen's sex toys and using them, as well as spying on Kristen and her husband's sex acts with binoculars because they were next door neighbors. So Kristen allegedly told people about this. And so Chelsea is attempting to sue Kristen for telling people about this. Kristen is countersuing Chelsea because she's like, I think I'm allowed to tell people that you posted the most degenerate, batshit crazy things about me that you possibly could in a community, in a little mean girls cheater club, and you didn't think I was going to find out about it. You literally used me for content, baiting me into finding out what was even going on here. I think I'm allowed to tell people about that. It's kind of how the lawsuit is going. I've been a long time hater of this affair community before I even knew about the lawsuit, okay? I've been covering this content and making fun of it for years. For years I've been making fun of cheaters now, and we're not done. We are not done because I have a couple of videos that I just have to share with you. This one is insane! Okay. In this video, old grandma side piece is responding to a comment that reads, if you aren't actively dating, start this very second. You are missing a primary partner. He has one. You deserve one too. So this is her advice to the side pieces, the other women of her community, okay?
If you are currently in an affair and your guy is not making the fucking move to like end this shit, okay? And you're done. You're absolutely done. You don't like affair life, but you do like the idea of being in a healthy relationship. So I love what this chick said. By the way, she's becoming one of my fan favorites for sure. If you aren't actively dating, start this very second. You are missing a primary partner. He has one. You deserve one too.
Pause. You heard that correctly. This is the advice that she is giving to the other woman community, okay? She's basically telling them, if you aren't dating other people, you need to do so right now. If what you want is a quote-unquote healthy relationship, then you should start dating other people. Why? Because he has another partner, so you deserve one too. So the language that is being used here is not, oh, so this man that you've been having an affair with for a significant amount of time, who is freaking married, and you know that, isn't leaving his wife, okay, then you should just be done with that and start taking care of yourself. No, the advice is you should add more dick to the arsenal, right? Because she didn't say leave him and find yourself a partner. She said you should also get a primary partner too. The woman who doesn't encourage cheating, doesn't encourage affairs, is saying, wait. You know what's really gonna put some gas on here and try to force your married man who hasn't left his goddamn wife, his controlling, possessive, overly curious, nosy wife yet? This is gonna really piss him off. You start dating somebody. Oh, I mean, don't tell the guy that you are dating a married man. God forbid. No, you're we're just going to add more cheating into the mix. We're going to add more people to be betrayed. That's healing. Bear in mind, this is a coach who claims that she can help you heal. And so the way to heal from being a side piece is apparently to just add more side pieces. Does she think that, like, affairs are like when you have gum stuck in your hair, so you use gum to get the gum out? Does she think that, like, when you're stuck in this awkward affair situationship with a married man, you just add in more married men and that will surely get one of them to date you for real? Like, what? Affair logic is literally the most batshit crazy thing I have ever studied in my life. Okay? Let me get to some of these super chats now that I'm done absolutely ranting about this dumbass shit. Dude, me and my husband were having a field day with this one this morning. Phil says Kristen is also here. Donate to her legal fund. Yeah, my link tree is linked pretty much on all of my socials. And if you go to my link tree, the link to her GoFundMe is like right there. I'm sure my mod Phil is also posting in the chat because he's the GOAT. But yes, we love Kristen and we support her battle against this witch. American Jordan Peterson, so good to see you, says, I'm feeling mean today. Chelsea's out here pretending she's a California 9 and she's not even a Midwest 6. You know what sucks is, like, if Chelsea was not Chelsea, I would find her pretty. But because she is Chelsea, I see every unattractive quality in her. And that's probably the most body shaming thing that you're going to be able to, like, fully wrangle out of me when it comes to this channel, because you guys know me. I hate ad hominem attacks. I'm always trying to come for your character, your debates, your arguments, the things you've said, the things you do. I don't like to come for however God built you, right? But I will say this. When I like someone, I can see every beautiful thing about them, and the parts of them that maybe I didn't see at first, they get more and more attractive and beautiful to me over time. But when I see someone's ugly character continuously, I can also see all of their flaws like a magnet, like a magnifying lens, like a magnet. Sound like insane clown posse out here. How do magnets work? Chris Barr says, I still love the term grandma side piece. I'm not gonna lie, I hate to be like, that was a good one, boss, but like that is one of my favorite preferred nicknames I've come up with for her. Arcian says, controversial opinion, but I don't see any meaningful difference between cheating and having an open marriage. It's just cheating with consent. I mean, the consent makes it not cheating. That's really all it is. And I hate when Chelsea and the people in her community and comment section try to equate their affairs to ethical non-monogamy. You know the key difference between the two? The ethical part, the knowing about it part. That's the big difference. Your relationship is not E&M. It is not simply non-monogamy. It's literally an affair. It is literally a duplicitous act of unfaithfulness and shittiness, okay? You might not like that some people stay together while porking other people and they're cool with it, but it happens. And as long as they're cool with it, who are we to judge? Like, literally, if they are 100%, if it turns them on thinking about their partner going to Pound Town with some other Betty or Steve, who are we to tell them no? Who are we to spray them with the no bottle? That's their thing. It's the knowing part. It's the knowing part that makes a key difference, right? I don't get... That's why I'm not on here hating on E&M. I'm hating on cheating. Shallow the Pretty says, oh, to be a side piece. How wonderful. These are the situations that make me cackle too. Because here's another huge reason that I talk about these things is it's not as though I am completely blind to the fact that there are like maybe 5% of affairs where you can kind of get it, right? Like, I knew a woman who, as soon as she turned 30, her husband said, I don't want to have sex anymore. And so before finally divorcing him, she had a number of side exploits. And seeing her go through that, it was like one of the first times in my life that I'm like, I'm very anti-cheating, but like, I don't really know how much I can judge you because, here's the deal. I know that she had a hysterectomy, so she couldn't get pregnant. He's not sleeping with her, so she can't spread any STIs. So I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, like, this is probably one of the least harmful affair situations, and I'm glad that she ultimately chose divorce in such a situation where intimacy was just retracted at the drop of a hat. And she was a gorgeous woman too, so I do not know what the deal was. There are certain situations where, sure, one person really, really sucks, you feel trapped. It's not as though most of us can't understand that a lot of affairs are nuanced. It's not as though most of us will never, ever, ever forgive or be able to offer humanity to someone who has committed adultery or engaged in infidelity, however you want to phrase it. It's that I feel that communities like this that empower and enable a fair logic and a fair mindset where you try to justify it, excuse it, minimize it, make excuses for it, you're ignoring the larger, more overall popular and most likely realities when it comes to affairs. You're ignoring all of the damage and the needlessness of most of it. And if you actually go into like r/adultery hate that makes fun of these public posts of cheaters telling on themselves, so many of these posts are side pieces finding out that their married man has another side piece, and they're always so shocked, and they're always being told the same lies. It's always, oh, but they have a dead bedroom, and then lo and behold, you follow their account for long enough and she finds out, oh, it's not a dead bedroom, the wife is pregnant. Yeah, duh. He's lying to both of you. He's lying to all of you. He's lying to everybody. That's what cheaters do. But these communities, they almost like falsely and cultishly lead these admittedly vulnerable other women and side pieces to believe this mentality of like, oh, but you're different. No, your situation is special. No, but it's special though, and it's worth protecting, and you're not wrong for this. And yeah, that feels a lot better than being shamed for it, right? I agree that outright berating someone in the middle of an affair with a married man will probably not do much to help them end the affair. But they need to be introduced to the realities of it. And Chelsea does not help introduce these people to the realities of affairs. Instead, she just parades around her own situation, using it as this like prime end goal example of like, I was once in an affair just like you ladies. I was the other woman. In fact, I actually cheated on my husband, but only for 3 months. So in my brain, I only cheated once. Yes, that's something that she says. She says, I only cheated once because it only lasted 3 months. Don't ask me to explain it. This is just cheater logic, okay? And even though, he ended up staying with his wife for a very long time and ended up... Eventually, I got him to leave his wife and kids in China, and you can too. That's like the overarching message of this paid community, okay? But it's just so fallacious and wrong and hypocritical and unsafe for anyone actually engaging in an affair. And I just hope that anyone like considering joining her community ends up finding my content, because they are avoiding certain peril, that's for sure. Doom for Zombies, so good to see you. It says, howdy y'all, it's good to be back in the streams. Bad sleep schedule is why I missed the last few streams. Fair. So good to see you too, why did I say Chus? I was reading cheating, your actual comment, while reading Gus. Gus says, cheating is breaking the rules, whatever they are. Yep. Big agree. So there's one more video we have to react to, because we have to just... I will never stop unpacking Chelsea slop, okay? Because she truly thinks that she is like this genius, that she has like cracked the code, figured it out, that everyone else is just so beneath her. She has achieved dharma, enlightenment, all of her chakras aligned. And it's like very easy actually to just pick this shit apart. It's not even like a magic trick where once you see how it's done, you're like, oh, that's easy. It's just any normal person looks at her content and is like, you really think people are buying this shit? But, you know, there she is with her merch. Clearly some people are. Big BN, thank you for the 5, says, not my thing, but I have open relationship friends and they only work with full trust and informed consent. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly the difference. Yeah, I would never want to ever open up my marriage. That is just my thing. You can call me possessive and not open-minded or whatever it is that you want to say, but yeah, whatever other people want to do though, pop off. So, in this one, Grandma's side piece is responding to this comment where someone says, I'm an AP, affair partner. I cut contact and stayed no contact and couldn't find someone I liked to spend my time with. So I'm back to square one. So in this video, what Chelsea is going to address is how painful it can be to just abruptly go no contact with your affair partner. Okay? This is something that she talks a lot about on her channel, and I have a lot to address regarding it. So let's just get into it.
I just had a full-on 1-week adventure with my no contact. So
she's again referring to her now husband, Stan. Stan being the man that she continuously and persistently claims to her audience that she was only in an affair with for 3 months, even though in plenty of her other content she has admitted that the affair lasted actually much longer on Stan's end, as he continuously refused to leave his wife. But yes, again, eventually he did abandon not only his wife, but his children in China, leaving Chelsea to now only claim their American children, leaving the Chinese children completely disregarded and forgotten about as though they never existed. That's what she means when she uses the quirky language of like, me and my no contact just spent a week together, haha. Because at one point she tried to go no contact because she realized that it's probably toxic to be with a chronic cheater who's willing to abandon his children. But nope, she actually chose to remain delusional for life.
I think no contact is basically abusive to both parties. I really like the idea of power partying.
Okay, so in this little snippet, she says that expecting your cheating spouse and their affair partner to go no contact is actually abusive. Yeah, if you discover an affair and you ask your partner to stop talking to that person, you're being an abuser. You're the abusive one in the relationship, because how dare you? How dare you just cut their love like that? But more importantly, what the fuck is power parting? She prefers power parting? What the fuck is power parting? Is that like power bottoming? Is it like you just have some really aggressive breakup sex before finally calling it? What is power parting? Can anybody in the chat explain this to me? Let me try Googling it. What is power parting? There's an Amazon book that says The Power of Parting. What the fuck is power parting? If anybody finds out, please let me know, because she actually does not go on to explain it. Maybe it's something that you can pay to learn in her courses or in her private community, perhaps. But I fear we never find out in this video anyway. But yeah, what I do know is going no contact, abusive and cruel.
I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to disconnect, stop the relationship, stop the affair. Just, it doesn't work. It's like amputation, I think. Like, the connection organically built. What are you gonna do? Pretend like it doesn't exist?
I'm so happy that you made that analogy, Chelsea. I am so happy that you actually chose to use that metaphor, that an affair and going no contact with your affair partner is like an amputation, especially on the cusp of us recently losing yet another 23-year-old young woman to cancer after she refused treatment in lieu of more holistic approaches, aka coffee enemas. And off the cusp of a few months ago, Netflix releasing their documentary Apple Cider Vinegar, which follows the stories of multiple people who either claim to have cancer or actually do have cancer, attempting to use holistic approaches instead. And you know what happens to one of the women featured in this story, and a true story in real life, is there was a young woman who had cancer in her arm and was told that she would need to amputate her arm in order to stop that cancer from spreading to more vital organs and areas of her body, and that it would suck to live without an arm, but it would be the only way to survive. Similar to how affairs are incredibly cancerous, and if left to go on, left untreated, left unaddressed, they're very likely to seep into every other area of your life, causing further and further damage and destruction as it reaps chaos everywhere, right? And Chelsea is a lot like these holistic approaches, where instead of going through with the amputation, Chelsea is essentially peddling coffee enemas. She's essentially telling women, no, don't cut off the affair, keep shooting coffee up your ass. That is the advice that this woman is giving to the side pieces. Oh, no. An amputation would be all bad because amputations hurt and are never necessary. Sometimes they fucking are. Because by and large, most affairs are not going to end up in anything long-term and good for you, or good for patterns of behavior or people-pleasing or any kind of really toxic mental shit you've got going on perpetuating. Like, there's nothing good. There's really nothing good that comes from affairs. Okay, and if Chelsea isn't willing to admit that, then she's not allowed to come on here and say, I don't think cheating's okay. Because you can't tell people that good can come from affairs, but cheating isn't okay. Right? That's not intellectually consistent. Okay? Like, yeah, cutting off the person who is killing your marriage, okay, probably not gonna be easy, but probably the right choice, especially considering the grand majority of cheaters, once found out, go scrambling back to their spouse, desperate to fix it anyway. These are the realities that this woman is trying to, like, shield other women and mistresses from, is the reality that, like, you are being breadcrumbed. You are being kept in a little cage, in a little closet by some egotist, and it is so beneath you. Instead, she's like, oh, but he might love you though. Girl, be so for real. You're having women pay you for delusion? I mean, okay, if that's what they want to pay for. I'm not saying her business should be illegal. It's Darwinism, you know? If people want to pay this grandma side piece to tell them, no, keep paying for hotels so that they don't show up on his shared bank card, keep meeting him in parking lots for sloppy car sex, keep hiding under a blanket, keep never being able to introduce him to your family, to your friends. If that's what you want to do and pay for people to validate you for doing, pop off. That's your business. But this has been a rundown of all the broken ass logic that goes into your business. What a joke. Power parting, dude. JJA, thank you for the generous 10. Says, good afternoon, Lauren. Excited to see more cheating Chelsea. Have little to no service at work. Trying to stay tuned, but love the live already and your content. Hope you keep on growing. Thank you so much. This definitely helps. Yeah, liking the live helps me grow too. So everybody tap that like button. Phil Jackson, holy shit, what an epic super chat. Says, power parting is what her legs do for married men. Drop that mic. Insane super chat, Phil. So true. Big BN, thank you for another one. Been there too much, helping people go through this kind of stuff. I don't even know how to put into words. Talk to text. Word. No, dude, I hate to keep giving this girl any more screen time. But like I said, once Kristen finally defeats this lady in court, I will shut up about her forever and she will fade into irrelevance and obscurity. I promise you. Okay, especially with the rise of more affair coaches. I know on one of her recent videos, the esteemed and famous Olivia Nicodemus commented with something like, you know, you did this before it was cool. And it's like, bro, imagine that being your flex, that you started a cheating community before other people did. Okay, yeah, your kids are definitely disowning you. Oh my god, wait, I gotta read this comment from Turd Ferguson. Says, another sad chapter in Chelsea's biography, the chronicles of a gassed up mid. Cinema. Peak cinema is what is unraveling, you guys. Okay. What is the video that brings us into Reverend Dadvocate's confessional booth today? Because, as I say, you actually... while I am an ordained minister, you really don't need to be a priest or a deacon or have any relationship with any god or have a fancy church in order for people to reveal their sins to you. Okay? All you have to do is have access to the internet. And sure as shit, they will show up and tell on themselves. Today, our confessional comes in the form of this Instagram video. Okay? Let me actually shrinky-dink it down just a bit more so you can see everything. Don't worry, audio only crew. I got you. I'll read everything to you and describe what's going on. What we have here is a video of a woman chugging a mimosa, I guess. And the text overlay reads, I'm bored. Tell me the most unhinged thing you've done after you found out your spouse cheated on you. We listen and we don't judge. Perfectly timed super chat from American Jordan Peterson. No, not that one. Saying, time to judge. That is the very difference between our channel and her comment section is we listen and we do judge. Now, the difference is, here's the thing. I think a lot of people love cheating revenge, okay? I think that a lot of us love to see some cheater comeuppance. I do personally. I'll cop to that right now. That's why I subscribe to r/adultery hate. It's so funny watching cheaters like especially the story of the cheater who had a multi-year affair. It blew up in their face. They lost everything in the divorce. Their kid did not want to see them at all. Their parents cut them out of the will. All this kind of stuff, you know? But there is some cheater revenge that I'm like, dude, whoa. You know? Like, property damage, I'm not too sure if I can fully condone that. Or, like, whenever people revenge cheat, I'm always like, That's weird. Why would you just like go out there, lead someone else on, have sex you don't want to be having just to make someone mad? That's strange. So I'm not like black and white with my support of cheater revenge. So I'm sure some of these I might agree with, and others will have me going, oh no, that's not. That's no good. Zomji, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, for the last time, it's forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, not sorry, Daddy, I've been a bad girl. We have to keep telling these people, okay? It's, you either do the Hail Marys, the Our Fathers, I will not step on you, and stop calling me mommy. Mommy, Reverend Dadvocate. Big BN says, jumped out of the car as soon as they stopped and walked 2 to 3 hours back home. I'm sorry, I have no idea what that is in the context of. I do not know what that is in reference to. I'm so sorry, my friend. Back to the confessional booth. First comment, or the caption rather, reads, this comment section is a safe space. Not anymore, it ain't. Canceled his health insurance before his spinal surgery. 54,000 likes. Is she going to hell for that one, or is it valid? Ooh. Again, cheating is very bad. But spinal surgery is very expensive. Ooh, this one's a very chaotic one because on one hand, he'll still receive the life-saving surgery. On the other hand, it is now going to cost him significantly. I mean, we might be in the 6 figures spinal surgery. Here's the thing, though. I'm also going to call bullshit on that because I've had some, like, being in the middle of insurances fluctuations before. And it was especially around the time that I was actually going to go in for my surgery earlier this year. They actually called me. It was so funny because I canceled my coverage with oh shoot, I forgot their the bad insurance, the CEO departure insurance company, because they denied my deviated septum septoplasty surgery and switched. But they called me to let me know, like, this surgery isn't going to be covered. You're gonna want to reschedule. I've got to imagine that would happen to him. They're not going to let him go in for spinal surgery because they always check the day of if your insurance is still active. So I'm actually going to call BS on that one even happening. I mean, I'm sure she did, but I'm sure he just had to wait to have spinal surgery, which sucks actually because, like, I'm sure he was in a ton of pain. I'm surprised he was even able to manage cheating on her, having to undergo spinal surgery. That's actually the reason Luigi went so psycho on these insurance companies, is because he had a bad spine. Big BN says, sorry, I got a little bit of a delay. You were asking what people have done when they found out that someone was cheating. Oh, okay. So you just like instant quit. Respect. Doom for Zombie says, woo, my state, New Jersey, is in a state of emergency for bad weather. Woohoo! I hope you don't end up like Cedar Point and Sandusky recently. I don't know if you guys saw that going down. Zomji says, my door is broken, but this might be more unhinged. So I think we're all kind of on the side of like canceling the insurance before spinal surgery was a bit too far. Is that kind of where we're at on that one? I think we all kind of fear that that might have been taking it a bit more time. Or a bit too far. Sorry, I was reading comments while trying to speak, and my brain just merged. Next confession. Hold my beer. While mine was away on his dirty cheating weekend in Paris, I texted him off my sister's phone to say I and our baby had been in a car crash and were dead. Then I made sure none of my family answered the phone so he'd have to drop everything and travel home, thinking his family was dead. Then he got home to an empty house as I packed up and left. I don't condone this behavior, but I was pretty unhinged in my 20s. I don't know if I hate this one. I really don't know if I hate that one. I don't know, man. I might approve, actually. Typically, faking your own death, very, very bad. But no emergency services were actually utilized or mishandled. He did lose out on money, but appropriately so, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with this one. What do you guys think? She even admitted it was petty, but also like faking death is a no-go. Never okay. You know, I will say if it was let me rewind on that. If she only faked her own death, I would be okay with it. She lied about the kid dying though, like the baby dying. That's pretty effed up. And she got an entire family to go along with lying about the baby dying. That's a pretty effed up thing to lie about. If she didn't include the baby on this, I think I would be more okay with it. But since she lied about the baby dying too, I do have to say, like, no, that one was a little... Yikes. He did kind of deserve it, but I will say, like, if I honestly believe my baby is dead, I am crashing the fuck out, dude. At the same time, though, if I find out that I've just been cheated on after giving birth, I'm crashing the fuck out. You know what I mean? Oof. By the way, that story had 75,000 likes. This person says, this comment section smells like my next best friends live here. Oh no. How much time have you spent in these comments? Me, yes. All of us, we're all guilty. This woman writes, after he cheated and stalked me for 6 months, I reported him to law admissions board in our state. He was a law student, so he can never become an accredited lawyer. Okay, that's fine. No, that's actually fair, though. No, like, you were actually stalked. No, but you just reported a crime. That's not unhinged. What do you mean? You didn't just report him to law admissions for cheating. You can't. You wouldn't have a case even. You literally told the police he was stalking you and they reacted accordingly. No, that's fine. That's not unhinged at all. Girl, no, pop off. That's fine. What? Oh no, honey, that's not unhinged. That's just, yeah, that one's okay. Judging from the comments, I don't do nearly enough. What do you mean, do? Are you like regularly cheated on by your spouse? Oh wow, this woman said, put Nair in his shampoo. What now, Caillou? 26,000 likes. Can putting Nair in shampoo damage. How bad is that one? It's hair removal cream. Can cause damage to both your hair and scalp. Applying it to the scalp may lead to irritation, chemical burns, and other adverse reactions. Okay, so that one, no, I would not. Wait, you're not saying that one is fine to the Nair, are you? I don't recommend the Nair for several reasons, and I definitely don't recommend copping to the Nair allegations with your full legal name attached to your profile photo, because that's assault. That's actually assault. Like, again, and here's the thing too. I actually consider cheating to be a form of assault, to be honest with you, because you're fucking up that person's entire chemistry of their body by introducing things that they did not consent to marinating with their own biosphere down there, their own pH levels. Okay, especially if you do end up spreading STIs. Okay, I do consider cheating to be a form of assault, quite frankly. That being said, I don't think the two assaults make a right. I think that a little bit of revenge is fine, but Nair in the shampoo is literally assault. And now we're dry snitching on ourselves. That's the confessional. This is the Dadvocate's confessional, quite frankly. Next one. He left me at 8 weeks postpartum for another woman after draining thousands from my savings account. Thought I would stay quiet. I went to social media, gained 75,000 followers, and now everyone in the city we live in, his workplace, and people all over the world knows what he did. Okay. I don't approve of partner shaming, but if you dump the dude, then it's just ex shaming. And you know what? I feel like I'm gonna allow that one. That's fine. All you did was say, my ex cheated on me and then drained our bank accounts, leaving me and the baby with nothing. I think you're allowed to say that. You're allowed to talk about that. That one's fair. The only problem is that I know that there's nothing much she can do, because this is like one of the scary parts of marriage. Yeah, your spouse can drain your bank account at any time for any reason they want, and you can't like sue them or recoup the money ever. There's not much of a legal strategy behind that. Even if you get a really good lawyer, the odds are unlikely to receive anything that actually exists. If they take it and they spend it, or they take it and you don't know how to locate it because you don't know what bank to subpoena, they might just get away with it. But I would also rate it mid-level revenge. Like, she could have done better. But yeah, she's fine. My judgment is, yeah, no, you're good. You're off the hook on that one. I don't think you did anything wrong, lady. That's not too unhinged. All you did was talk about what happened to you. I think a lot of these people have big people-pleasing tendencies. They're like, my unhinged revenge after being cheated on was I broke up with him. And it's like, okay, girl, you're good. Oh, wow, this one actually might be unhinged. Made a Shutterfly book of his mean and narcissistic texts to me, admitting his adultery, and added screenshots of his texts with her, pics off of our cameras, etc., printed the book, and mailed it to his parents. It's unhinged, but I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Okay? She didn't hurt anybody. She spent her own money. She didn't damage any property. She simply curated receipts. She scrapbooked the affair. You know, I'm sure that was very cathartic. Okay, that one I'll allow it. Big BN says, how can I share my story anonymously for everybody's benefit? If you email it to me at lauren@dadvocate.net, I may read it, but I have to warn you, a lot of people send me their stories and I can't cover all of them. I'm so sorry. Dylan says that was based. Honestly, though, I gotta say, in my past, after like finding out that I've been cheated on, yeah, I've tattled to family members before. Absolutely. Absolutely, I have. I definitely was like, would you like to know what your nephew did? Next up. Oh, shit. This one might be too far. Remote erased his MacBook while he was studying for law school finals. Damn. That's what's so crazy about cheaters too, is these dudes trust these women with their entire world. their passwords, their phone passcodes, everything you would need to get into an iCloud backup and delete everything. And you're gonna go and get that all up? Wow. I don't know, man. Deleting the entire MacBook is deep. Sounds criminal, not gonna lie. I do wonder about that too, like what the legalities of that are, how much it would take to prove it. Let me see. Can I sue someone for erasing my computer? Yes, you may be able to sue someone for erasing your computer's data or hard drive. You could file a civil lawsuit for property damage. It could potentially escalate to criminal charges. Wild. Okay, yeah, that one's a bad one. I can't approve of that one. That one's pretty rough, dude. It's I love Jordy said, I understand, but that's too far. Yeah, that one's pretty rough. Ooh. I put insulation in all of his boxers so he thought he had an STD and tried to hide the itch for weeks. Glorious. That one might also fall under assault, actually. Can insulation cause damage to skin and genitals? Yes, certain types of insulation can cause damage to the skin and genitals if handled improperly or without adequate protection. Fiberglass fibers can penetrate the outer layer of skin, causing etching, irritation, redness, and rash. Prolonged or repeated exposure can lead to more severe skin damage, including blisters and ulcerations. Yeah, that one's pretty bad. I don't think you should do that one. Now, admittedly, I think this woman might be a little bit more anonymous, a little bit harder to find, so isn't like completely ratting herself out, but it's kind of. And if someone can prove that account is linked to her, if that man has ever suspected it, then he could absolutely sue, I think. JJ says, nah, that's way too far. Not only are you affecting his life now, but his future as well. Like, I get the idea behind it. Like, wouldn't it be funny if I tricked him into thinking he had an STD, which would be like, kind of, it seems like a reasonable vengeance for him sleeping around, but you can't actually, like, sneak fiberglass in people's drawers like that. I love this. This one's so funny. Paid the cameraman at Coldplay concert to out him to the world. That would be genius, actually. Like, if you knew that your partner was having an affair and you knew that, like, they were going to be going out to a concert, like, you found out and you had the means and the resources to do that, that would be 100%. That would be okay in my mind. This Wonderful Life with Alice Marie says, my ex-husband remote reset my phone after he was sexting with another woman our entire marriage and told me he wanted a divorce. Guilty dog, always barking the loudest, dude. Of course he would do that to you. What an a-hole, man. Should have just bought that itching powder from the prank section. Oh god, does that exist? I would be so pissed if someone pranked me like that. Of course, I'm also not out here cheating. I sent his childhood teddy bear back, one small piece at a time. An ear, the bow tie, the eyes. That one should be upvoted a lot more as the most unhinged one yet. Oh my god. Never cross that person, dude. What in the Breaking Bad villain? Ooh, oh wow. I mean, I hate cheating, but that is a dark, evil thing to do. It depends on how bad the cheating was, I think. If he, okay, it would have to, I will allow it in an extensive period of cheating. Like, if this is your boyfriend and he just kissed another girl and he copped to it right away, that would be way too far. But if you're married, you're sharing kids, you're doing the most for this person, and you find out they're having a full-fledged affair, am I okay with the serial killer level dissection of the teddy bear and the emotional turmoil of receiving it piece by piece? Gamer Daddy says teddy bear died for your sins, literally. Rupert, no. That is really psychotic behavior. A lot of you are torn on that one. Some of you are like, I live for the madness, and the others of you are like, that's too far. In what may be one of the most divided sections of the chat today, what do we think about that one? The bear was innocent. Oh my god. Yeah, that one hits deep too, because I feel like a lot of us do have like that one childhood teddy bear. Like TJ and I both came into our relationships with like our childhood teddy bears, and we still to this day at all times know where our sweet and precious childhood teddy bears are. If someone did anything to our precious bears, to Winston or old Chen, hell no. Absolutely not. You're not my dad. Impressively evil. Emotional damage paid back with emotional damage. Ooh, that one's a devastating one. Definitely the worst I've read so far. I found out his new girl had a brother, so I started dating him. I was there at every family function, family holidays, and dinners, sitting right across from my ex and his new girl. Her and her brother were both college students at the time and rented a house together, so I was there daily as well. After a year, they ended up breaking up, and he tried to get me back. I ended up marrying her brother in 2005, and his sister is now my 15-year-old daughter's godmother. This sounds like one of those no revenge cuz stories. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't even sound like revenge. Like, I get that it's kind of funny because the guy who ended up cheating on her, like, it didn't work out with that girl anyway, and he ended up wanting her back. So that's kind of the revenge part of it. But, like, I mean, obviously you didn't start dating the brother just to get back at him. And if you did, I'm surprised it actually worked out that well. Huh, that sounds like one of those, like, freak accident kind of stories, almost. It's a weird dynamic because it sounds like she only started dating this guy to get back at her ex, and that was, like, her mission all along, and then she just kind of, like, took the guy as a consolation prize, almost. I don't know, I would always feel skeptical if I felt like my husband only started dating me as some kind of, like, get back plan. And it's hard to not feel like that was the end goal, was like, or at least the initial goal was to just get back at him when she's posting it here in this thread. Shiny Luna says nothing compared to the story of the dead dog one. I don't know what you mean with that one. I'm so sorry. This person says, I waited until my husband took her away to Malibu for her birthday. He told me and the kids it was a work trip. While he was gone, I changed the locks, installed cameras, loaded up his car at the airport with all his shit. On the night of her birthday dinner, I watched his location and called the restaurant, told the hostess my friend was there celebrating her birthday, and I wanted to send a bottle of champagne to the table. I had it delivered with the message, "Happy birthday, love, my name and my kids' names." And that's how they found out I knew. Perfectly acceptable. That's how my husband would do it. Me personally, I would never have the patience to just like sit back and let someone cheat on me. so that it could be more dramatic when I leave. I'm the type, like, I'm not setting up no cameras, I'm not getting nobody involved. I'm just crashing out on you as soon as I see you, and that's a wrap. Like, I'm not about to go through no elaborate hoops and strings. Okay, if I'm gonna take the time to plan something, it's gonna be a party. I don't need like extra bells and whistles, you know? But that's the way my husband would do it for sure. My husband and my best friend, they are like the long con types. I love that. I mean, I do think that there are legal issues with changing the locks on a shared estate. I don't think you're necessarily allowed to do that without the consent of everyone who is in the home and has residency. There's a lot of legal issues with that. Like, people don't realize you can't just kick people out, it's not that easy. Um, but she definitely has the upper hand here, I would say, as far as like the divorce goes, because he's already gone, so she can claim he abandoned them. Yeah, I'm okay with this though. Overall, I'm okay with that. That is, yeah, I love what Wasamata Yu says, classy and creepy. I like it. Yeah, I'm on board with you. Classy and creepy. Mostly classy though. I respect it. Picasso, I like it. Next one. We were planning to move to Australia together. He had me pay for everything. I found out he was seeing someone else, so I canceled his flight without telling him. When we got to the airport, I thanked him for the ride and moved across the world without him. Holy shit, talk about committing to the bit. Oh my god. Like, they were just gonna... Damn, I mean... Holy crap. Okay, you know what? I'm okay with it. I also 100% approve of that one. That one is just fine. You get my full approval on that. No notes, no issues. Pop off, enjoy Australia, say hi to the ruse for me. Shiny Luna says, woman, male, childhood dog to cheater piece by piece. Oh my god, I never heard of that. Did that happen? Oh my god. No, that one I would absolutely straight to go to jail. That one I would say go to jail. Holy shit, I never heard of the dog one. Oh my god. Yeah, that person definitely should go to jail, and I'm glad that they got cheated on, actually. If you would kill a dog and mail them to someone piece by piece, you deserve to get cheated on. I don't say that very often. I don't say many people deserve to get cheated on, but them, they deserved it. Holy shit. Peaches and Bo says, canceled our wedding and bought myself a house. Why do people think that that's unhinged? These women are literally like so lost in the people-pleasing sauce. They're like, oh my god, I did this really unhinged thing when I found out I was getting cheated on, where I left him and built a great life for myself. Yeah. Yes. We listen and we take notes. From the comments, all the cheaters are law students then? You know, that is a funny pattern I noticed in these comments so far, too. Moved on. I know, wild. I'm too scared to tell. Let's just say it worked and came with a couple of records on his record. Hey, yo, what the Taylor Ashley. Girl, what does this mean? If all you did was tattle on a man who actually committed a crime, you have no reason to be scared unless he was high-level mafia and you're in danger now from his accomplices. What this sounds like is that you made a false allegation against a man out of revenge. Bro, that is definitely not okay. That's fucked up, dude. I don't care if you got cheated on. I really don't. I don't care if he's a cheater. You do not make false allegations, because sure, you might have put a cheater behind bars. Guess what? You also decreased the credibility of everyone out there who is an actual real victim. That's messed up, dude. That's not cool. This person says microdosed ecstasy for like 1.5 years. Worked like a charm. Would not recommend. So they were just tripping balls for ages. That is a pretty unhinged thing to do, I will say. I mean, they didn't say it had to be revenge. They just said unhinged things you did after finding out about an affair. So okay, yeah, I also don't recommend, but thank you for sharing. Jordan Peterson says 234 watching, 175 likes. Some of you are slacking. Thank you for keeping them on their toes, especially because we're only going to do a couple more of these. And then I got to head out and get my kid from camp, okay? So, but I will say if we do get to 200 likes in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will be more eager to plan that members only live stream, okay? And if we do, you know, who knows? Who knows? Some of these guys are crazy. They like to reward likes around here. So you might even end up getting gifted a membership to the members only live stream. I'll talk to TJ. He'll be willing to get the kids out of my hair for a little bit sometime this weekend for a members only one. Okay, we can make that happen. We just got to smash that like button real quick, okay? And yeah, that is illegal, you guys. We're all going to go pick up our kids from day camp. I just came here for ideas. Why? Are you like currently being cheated on or planning on being cheated on? This person says, oh, you know, just casually changed the beloved team's season tickets under my name without mentioning it had the tickets reprinted and mailed to my parents' house. Then, for that extra sprinkle of chaos, I went ahead and had the already printed tickets that were in his possession canceled because why not? So naturally, when he showed up all excited to cheer on his team, he was denied access. Meanwhile, I'm sipping cocktails on vacation, having already sold my tickets to my friends. And when he called absolutely losing it, I was like, wow, someone's a little tense. Okay. So there was a bit of a financial loss on this guy's end. A little bit of a financial damage in this one. Because it sounds as though he was the one who purchased the season pass. She simply had access to it. And misappropriated her access. Which he also did. I would certainly consider cheating to be misappropriating access, right? I think we can all agree. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that one's fair? Do you guys think that one's a fair play? I will say, unless it's like egregious financial damage, like you straight up burned the guy's house down, I don't mind a little bit of financial loss when it comes to cheaters' revenge, especially if this is the spouse. As the spouse, it doesn't matter that he bought the tickets. As his wife, she has legal access to them, so she did nothing wrong legally. So if she's the spouse, I'm even more inclined to say, like, she technically did nothing wrong. What do you guys think about that one? Let me read some of these super chats that I missed. Just Ricardo says, got cheated on, did drugs, went to the joint for a bit. Damn. I mean, listen, that sucks. That sucks that you couldn't find a more positive strategy for coping. You know what I mean? But cheating will hit you like a freaking freight train, dude. DJ Omnificent said, I've been guilted into liking. Good. We use both guilt and incentivization in these parts. Shadow God says, maybe I'll do something for 250 likes. Get on YouTube and like the stream. I don't know if we'll get to 250 just because I do have to go soon, unfortunately. But if we do, shit, would be worth celebrating. I need more lives. You all want them too. Get it done. Yeah, I think if we just get to 200, I'll give you that extra live, Shadow God. Because you're a member, right? You would be able to make it to a members only one. If not, I'll like find a way to gift you a membership at this point, dude. Yeah, Dylan brings up another good point too, saying sometimes there's a long wait to get season tickets. Yeah, that can be true for sure. It can be expensive. I'm really torn on that one. I'm mostly okay with it though. I'm leaning toward mostly okay with it. Vianney says, not proud of this, but got cheated on in college and gave her stuff back in a box along with kitty litter. That one's not too bad. You still gave her stuff back. It's a little dirty. Was it dirty kitty litter, though? If it was clean kitty litter, whatever. All right. Yeah, someone said there's only 230 people here. Yeah, that's what I was like. That's a bit ambitious because we'd have to get 20 people in here, then have all 20 of those people like the stream. It's not impossible, but I'm a little hungry and I gotta leave soon. So unfortunately, you know, we'll take what we can get, but I appreciate all the likes so far. Okay. Shadow says I've gifted 50 memberships. I'm definitely a member. Okay, I would hope so. You never know. Some people are just selfishly generous or selflessly generous. Jamal says, please say it was dirty litter. The chaotic ones are in the chat, I see. This person says, got my family and emptied 90% of the stuff in the house. Hey, I just took what was mine and let him have what he bought, which was almost nothing. Again, that's also fair. I mean, yeah, if you're married, you're allowed to do that, like I said earlier. Nothing unhinged. Ruined his date night on Valentine's Day. Kissed him on the forehead, wished him all the best, and simply said, I'm done. Left, drove off into the Miami sunset, and never looked back. Filed for divorce. However, he kept texting me, sending flowers, giving me gifts, etc., like he was courting a side piece. This continued for 7 years. He gave up. I guess I was the one that got away. Wow, that's crazy, dude. That's exactly why the best thing you can do when you are in a situation where you have to leave the relationship, as heartbreaking as it is, as hard as you are going to grieve and feel a litany of emotions, if you're getting cheated on, if you're not being treated right, the best thing you can do is go out without a bang. Just say, okay, and then head on out. They will freak the fuck out. This guy was sending her shit for 7 years. I remember that happened to me with a guy that I didn't know at the time I was being cheated on, but he at one point broke up with me and was like, hey, I don't know if we should keep seeing each other. And I was like, okay. And I deleted him off everything. And then I went on a camping trip. And of course, the same thing. The next thing I knew, it was like, actually, I was wrong. I want to get back together. And like so immediately. And of course, it fell apart like very not too long after that. But yeah, if you simply just are like, okay, you're not gonna magically fix the relationship or anything, but you'll get the satisfaction of kind of winning the breakup, essentially. Shiny Luna says, can't find dog post. I think she deleted it. I mean, good. That post should not exist in the world. No one needs to know about that. And then Dylan Bowser says, will we get a live for my birthday next Friday asking for my friends? I should be able to make that work. I'll have to check my schedule and TJ's. Aw, Jordan Peterson, not that one, gifted 5 memberships. Dang, thank you so much. Did we get to 200 likes? Is that why we're doing that? Because if we don't get to 200 likes, I am not doing that third live. I am being a diva about it. Free swords and shields, y'all. Thank you, Jordan. That's awesome. This one's funny. Most unhinged thing she did after finding out she was cheated on, stayed with him for years. No. That is funny though, with the context of this post. Oh, we're 205 now. Yay, we made it. Just in time, dude. All right, we'll plan the next live. Let me talk to TJ. I'll have to double check his schedule. We should be able to plan a members only live for tomorrow, I think. And I feel like I have so much stuff to talk about too. So we're going to have fun. All right, you're all required to be here. Mandatory viewing, okay? That's awesome. I know, I love she sure showed him. That's so funny, Tara. Oh boy, here we go. This is a bad one. Wait, who's gifting? Who's gifting? You guys, I told you guys, my audience, my chat is like so OP, I must say. JJA just gifted 10 memberships, dude. It's about to get so lit this next live. We're about to have so much fun. Thank you, JJ. Thank you. That's awesome. Anyway, this one, yeah, I think this one's about to be unhinged and a boo factor for us. When I found out that he was cheating, I hooked up with his best friend, and their friendship of many years was completely ruined, and they had a big fight. I am a forgiving person in general, but when it comes to cheating in a relationship, I become completely unhinged and feral. Here's my problem with revenge cheating, too, and why it looks so bad is, like, I get that you might think it's fair play, like, oh, well, they cheated on me, so I should get to cheat on them. Why do you so immediately have access to that, though? Like, I don't have a roster. If TJ cheated on me, like, I don't exactly just have people at the ready that, like, I could just immediately hook up with. Like, maybe I'd be surprised if I started, like, going out there and shooting my shot, but, like, it's very questionable that you just have immediate access. Like, I feel like as a person who is married, you're not supposed to just have available booty on the side. You know what I mean? Like, by all means, if you're attractive enough, you might be surprised by who is actually receptive. If you're like, my spouse just cheated on me, who's down for some revenge sucking and fucking, you know what I mean? Oh god, that sounded so dirty to say out loud, and I apologize. Okay, but like, why were you and his best friend so ready to hook up with each other? I don't know, man. Like, if I cheated on somebody, I was like feeling a little bit bad about it, but then I found out that they like immediately were able to hook up with my best friend. I would be like, you know what? I'm glad I cheated on you. Okay, like, I would feel so vindicated at that point. Why would you want to vindicate your cheater? That's the problem with, like, revenge cheating, is, like, you kind of make it a net even at that point. Like, you almost alleviate their guilt. Why would you want to do that? Don't clip it. Please don't clip it. I'm ashamed. No! Now everyone is turning against me in the worst clipping. Oh my god, my cheeks hurt from smiling. Okay, let me read one more. Oh, this is crazy. Sold his Harley and bought boobs. Okay, that's an L, dude. Like, just because you guys know me, I'm kind of anti-fake boobs. I'm not meaning to, like, shame people who have done it or, like, call you stupid for doing it at all. I'm just anti-fake boobs because I feel like most people aren't fully educated, or they don't, like, know how bad it can be. I think that a lot of fake boobs end up getting rejected. You end up having to redo them after a set amount of time. I don't think it's a great idea. It's fine. Most everybody's perfectly fine with just a handful anyway. You're good, girl. You didn't need to do that. Yeah, I don't know about pawning off property as revenge for cheating. I'm kind of torn on that one. But it's tough because, again, if you're the spouse and you get cheated on, you're allowed to sell whatever you want. You are. So legally, she's in the clear. And then Big BN, I acknowledge that you sent me an email, so I'll have to check that out after this. I am the antiest of fake boob haters. Like, you love fake boobs? I think I read that correctly. Dylan Bowser loves false titty, is what I'm getting out of this, I think. Oh, God. Became a hoe because I couldn't get rid of pictures of her being with someone else. I had vivid images of her with someone from her office. When confronted, she said it wasn't her boss, but I knew it wasn't just lust with him. It was emotional. She told me she fell in love with someone else, shut me out. One night I spent all night on the terrace, watched the stars, cried violently, went down on my knees and cried a little more. Then I realized I had no self-respect in trying to keep her. I realized that after all this misery, even if she comes back, things would never be the same again. And that's when when I started focusing on my happiness, my selfishness. I started living for myself and got the validation I needed from multiple women. Some evenings from more than one woman. I explored with couples as well. Those moments of weakness was actually my healing time, and now I'm happily married. It was meant to be this way, and I am grateful I aged with disdain ever since. I wouldn't recommend that route. I know some people say the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. It sounds like you just like developed an addiction. Like you developed a temporary sex addiction as a form of escapism and coping mechanisms. And I don't know if you ever restored your humanity because you still use these multiple women namelessly as more of a braggadocious flex of conquests than you do like a valid experience. Like, it sounds like more therapy should have been had instead of mindless dick burying. All right, who just gifted again? Damn, I gotta really scroll to see who's gifting this aggressively. Shadow God, holy shit! I think that's everybody left in the stream. Shadow God 1000 just gifted 50 memberships. Oh my god. Holy sweet Jesus. We are gonna have a packed house at this stream. Okay, well, it is done. We are definitely having a members only stream now. Whoo! Jordan Peterson, no, it's not a competition. Says my 5 seems weak now. No, you are just fine, Jordan. Holy moly, you guys are extremely generous. Jordan Peterson, JJA, Shadow God 1000, thank you so much for being the sponsors of this stream. You guys are the heroes. But on this note, with that final confession, it's about time to wrap up this stream. I gotta eat a quick little bite before I go pick up my rascal. There's still some time to like the stream if you want to. Like and subscribe to this channel if you somehow have not already. Like I said, we're having a members only stream. I believe tomorrow is, I think, what we're looking at. Shadow God says we need member streams, many of them. Yes, I agree. I agree. So we shall. So we're going to have a 3rd stream this week. If you are not a member, if you are not one of the many, many people who is gifted a membership today, feel free to hop on. They're as cheap as $5 a month. If not, don't worry. I will forever make free content. So don't worry about it. Okay, and then as far as future free lives, I should have a schedule up on Sunday is typically when I release my schedules for the week, if not on Monday. But between Sunday and Monday, you will know the next time that you will get to see me. For now, thank you guys so much for such an awesome live. I had so much fun. People are still being gifted memberships as we speak. And yeah, to everybody who did just get a membership, come join the Discord. You know, I only stream for a few hours a week, but the Discord is forever. It is a 24/7 place for Dadvocate community. We have lots of fun. But all right, I gotta get out of here.